What's going on? So today in this video we are going to install version 2.5 of the HF mod, the one that has a BGA427 and the audio preamp. There are, guys, there is 4 different ways to install this particular board. There is a single antenna, there is a dual antenna, number 3 is a discrete antenna, that's different from a dual antenna, and finally number 4 is a single antenna with 2 HF amplifiers, 2 LNAs. Right ahead I'm telling you that number 3 and number 4 might not work, but we're still gonna try them. They both use 2 LNAs. First signal gets amplified on one LNA and then it gets amplified in another LNA. We're gonna see how it's gonna work, how it's gonna play out. Some of you might be eager to call this version of HF mod version 3. Don't be so eager, because check this out. There is something called version 5. Do you see it? Right there it says version 5. Right before IOTCU there is version 5. This is a new board that I got aware of just yesterday. It also has a BGA427 LNA amplifier, but instead of MH2 or MH3 connector, it has a regular size IPX connector, and the BGA427 amplifier is made using second application from the datasheet. It has a coil. Let me show it to you on the datasheet. So the datasheet for BGA427 low noise amplifier, if you scroll down, we're gonna see 2 applications. Application 1, that's a board that we are going to do today. It has BGA427 LNA implemented using these schematics, and the new version that it claims to be version 5, it's implemented via the application number 2 schematics. The difference is amount of amplification. The one that we are doing today has 18.5 decibel of amplification, and the version 5 22 decibels. So guys, let's not make a long video out of this. Let's keep things simple, but at the same time let's not kid ourselves and make a short video, right? It's not gonna be long, it's not gonna be short, it's gonna be something in between. Some things I'm going to show you how to do it in detail, but other things I'm not going to show you how to do it in detail. For example, right now I'm gonna take K5 proc win and I'm gonna back up calibrations and configuration, and then I'm going to download latest R3b0rn firmware and install it. And when I come back, and just like that, we have Fox's latest R3b0rn installed, so that later we don't have to do this step. And now guys, it's time to take this radio apart. So let's not skip this step and take it apart so that people know how to take a radio apart, because some people do not know. Check out this button. This printed on 3D printer. Really nice. Let's continue with this assembly. And I see here that it was disassembled previously, so something been done to this radio. Or at least it was just disassembled. And let's take the rings off. I would like to take the screws off as well. So that I can remove the board, because we have some auxiliary mods that we have to do. And how about we take the display off? It's gonna come off easy. Yes, it came off easy. One more screw. And microphone appears to be messed with because I have flux on this side, but other than that, it appears to be a stock radio, guys. Everything that I'm going to be doing today you can do using a solder iron. However, I'm not going to be using solder iron. Instead, I'm going to be using hot air so that we can finish this job easier and faster. I guess I'm going to show you how to take off a chip and a coil and a capacitor using solder iron, but that's later. For now, I'm taking off the display and keyboard film from here and from here so that I don't melt it when I work on it. So both display and keyboard film, also keyboard film from the side, is off. Before we install the mod from the face of the board, we have to go to the back of the board and do a few mods. Check this out. You see right here these two transistors. I wasn't zoomed in. You were, but I wasn't. Like this is better. So this one is for VHF tract and this one is for UHF tract. This transistor, guys, have amplification of 9 decibels and a noise figure of, I think it's 1.6 or 1.8 or something like that, or 1.5, I forgot. We have beta transistors here, BFU550AR. They have amplification twice more, 18 decibels, and noise figure is 0.6 decibels. So we are going to upgrade these transistors, and one of the tracks, the UHF one, we are going to upgrade with coils, 15 nanohenry coils, which is going to give us SATCOM mode. Also, we are going to upgrade EEPROM right here. EEPROM is desirable when you're doing this Si4732 mod, because the standard SEC firmware does not have spectrum analyzer. In fact, it's basic firmware, and Fox's Reborn firmware has all the goodies plus Si4732 support and continued development from Foxy, and it requires EEPROM. That's why we're doing EEPROM. Also, there is this crystal generator which generates 26 megahertz clock, and there is antenna attached to that clock, which we do not need. It is used for the stock FM chip right here, the 1081, but SI does not need it, so we are going to cut off that antenna and those reduce noises. So these three modes I'm going to do off camera, but let me show you where things gonna go. So you see on your screen 2 coils and 2 transistors. I'm going to replace them just like that, and in case you need instructions on what I'm doing here, just go to my YouTube channel and scroll down. Let's find that video. Here it is, guys. It is quansheng UV-K5 mod high sensitivity low noise. You see the thumbnail, that's a video. So when I come back, guys, as you can see, there are 2 new transistors here and 2 new coils. So that's optional, non-related to SI mod number 1. Mod number 2 is I'm going to replace EEPROM, and this mod is highly desirable if you're doing SI. So just like that, check it out. We got a brand new 24M02RD installed. It is K315K. I don't know what that is, guys. But if you need instructions on how to install that, just go to my channel, my YouTube channel, and browse down until you see these 2 videos. 999 times 2 channel, 999 times 2 channel. The first one is install instructions, and the second one, the redux, it says redux right there, it's a correction. Because this particular chip that I just installed here, that I use, does not work with RGB, but guys, we don't care about RGB. We are using SI, and RGB does not support SI, never gonna support SI. Factory Reborn is the future, and Factory Reborn supports the SI. Up next, guys, is this right here. You see a generator, crystal oscillator, I think the proper name is. Basically, you see right here via, right? This via goes in the middle of the board on the other side into our FM chip, and exits this via right here, and through this capacitor goes to this chip. Now the thing is, the SI that we install instead of this FM chip does not need clock from this crystal. Clock from this crystal is going to the CPU, and we're just gonna cut this particular leg off. I'm gonna do it off camera, and I'm going to ground that leg. That way there is no oscillator clock in the middle of the board, so we remove the antenna. So just like this, guys, there you go, guys, it is ready. You see here, this thing is grounded off, the trace with a via grounded, and here we bypass this thing, it is cut, and it's going through this capacitor, which used to be here, down to this leg. So everything is ready and done. If you want this particular mode, just go to my YouTube channel, and over here, this video, remove 26 megahertz dead freaks. This one, quansheng, improve reception, remove 26 megahertz of excitation. That's one video that's you're gonna watch to do this particular mode. So we did the crystal oscillator, we did the low noise, high sensitivity with the SATCOM mode, and we did the EEPROM. We are now ready to do the SI mode. So let's come back and remove stack FM chip, two capacitors, one coil, and do the mode. So let me show you what we're gonna do. Over here we are going to remove this chip, we're going to remove this coil, we're going to remove this coil, we're going to remove and replace this capacitor, we're going to remove and upgrade this transistor. By the way, this is optional, this LNA. The stock one provides 9 decibels of amplification at 1.5 or 1.2 decibels of noise, and we are going to replace it with BFU550AR, which provides 18 decibels of amplification and 0.6 decibels of noise. Guys, I'm going to do everything using hot air, but it can be done using solder iron. In previous videos you've seen me do it. The only thing that I ask that you do not use regular solder, to use a solder blob and remove things. It works fine for small parts like a capacitor or a coil, but for a larger part like chip, the chip for example, right, you're running the possibility to lift in a trace, and making your job a lot more complicated. Use low melt solder instead. That way low melt solder stays molten and you can remove the chip. If you're lazy to buy low melt solder, it's not that expensive. At least cut your chip off carefully, one leg at a time. But I'm going to do properly everything right here. I'm going to save everything. I'm going to use hot air. So let's go on the microscope and take things apart. So this chip is what is it? I forgot its name. It is BK1080, guys. It provides FM reception for a quansheng radio. When you press function plus FM on your quansheng, you invoke this chip. So let's take it off. Up next, guys, we're gonna take off this coil and this capacitor right here. I'm also going to take off this capacitor because guys, we are going to put a jumper right across this capacitor, and we don't need this capacitor. You also see people put jumper from over here, from this trace down to this capacitor, bypassing this capacitor. We're just gonna take it off. Like this. Guys, this capacitor right here, from factory it is 47 picofarads. We are going to remove it and replace it with provided 100 nanofarad capacitor. And this right here is LNA, stack LNA. Let me come back and give you its data sheet, show you the data sheet for it. So this 2Si4732 LNA provides gain of 9.0, you see, decibels, typical gain, and provides noise of 1.2 decibels. And we are going to replace it with BFU550AR, which provides typical gain of 18 decibels and maximum noise figure of 0.6 decibels. So it's 0.6 versus 1.2 decibels of noise, and amplification is 18 decibels. Keep in mind, this is not a linear scale, but let's say it's twice more than 9 decibels. It is considerably noticeable, guys. So let's go under microscope. By the way, this is optional, but highly recommended. Let's take off the stack LNA. And let's install the upgraded LNA. So what we did, we removed the chip, removed coil capacitor, this capacitor, removed this capacitor. We are going to replace it, and optionally replaced the LNA. If you don't have that LNA in stock, just don't worry about it. And now it is time to clean surfaces and prepare to install the modification board. So let's just clean the surfaces. Let's get rid of this solder. Oh, I lifted that resistor, did you see it? We all make mistakes, guys, we are just human. I mean, when the race car driver, right, drives his race car, he keeps constantly making mistakes. The driver that wins, he makes less mistakes. So that's our job, is to make less mistakes. I'm happy with this much clean, and this resistor I'm going to put back using the hot air. But for now, while the hot air is coming up, I want to remove this LED for the flashlight. If you're doing single antenna, guys, you do not have to remove this LED. But since I am doing all kinds of antennas here for you, single, dual, triple, quad, I'm just gonna remove it. But if your aim is single antenna, do not worry about this. So the hot air came up. Let me fix this resistor. It wants flux. Okay, I'll give it flux. Better than factory, guys. So at this point we are ready to clean it using a cleaner so that it is clean. And by the way, when you apply cleaner, be mindful of the microphone, do not get it wet. I had some guys cleaning stuff using my instructions and drown the microphone. That would suck, right? So we come back and we install the sink. Everything was cleaned, all surfaces were degreased. I applied double-sided tape onto the bottom of the board. Let's see how this board is going to go in. So like this, you see. And on the bottom, check out this pin right here. This pin is important. Point is that the traces on the bottom. From the top we don't have a trace. You see, no trace from the top. So we have to make sure that we apply flux and the solder flows underneath. So let me come back and remove this tape. Tape have been removed. I'm using non-active flux. Flux corrodes stuff if you don't clean it, and this flux corrodes stuff less, and I will not be able to clean it underneath. So non-active flux it is. Let's align this thing before we solder it. Well, how about like this, huh? Let me go in closer. Maybe that's too close. And let's inspect everything here. This looks good. Here we have a space. And here we have space. And this appears to be straight. So let's solder this thing. My iron is on. Let's do this. Let's do the other side. Let me check continuity before we continue. Yes. Yes. Yes. And this thing is going where? I forgot to look. I would guess onto one of these pins, right? So we have continuity. How about the antenna? Yes. About this, this is going where? Have continuity and this. Yes, everything is good. Let me clean before we move on. We have two grounds, guys. We have one ground over here. You see it right here, and we have one ground over here. So let me come back and switch the solder tip. Solder tip is switched, and let's solder this ground while making sure this board is straight with the edge. I'm going to be using this time around jumper wire supplied with the kit. So let me move the board. I don't think the board minds too much. There you go, it is soldered. Let me cut it. Excellent. Now let's solder this ground. Good. At this point we need to make a couple of jumpers. First, let's begin with audio. The kit wants us to connect this audio exit pad to the exit of this resistor. That way we bypass this resistor. But the thing with that is that amplification, pre-amplification of audio is too much, and you get really bad audio. Your speaker shatters if you connect it here. So instead we are going to connect it on this side, right on here, from here to here. That way the audio, pre-amplified audio, goes through 6.7 kilo ohm resistor. This is a 6.7 kilo ohm resistor. I measured it before. So let's do this. Good, we are good. Let's cut this off and make a second jumper. Second jumper, guys, is right over here. Some people jump up from here to this capacitor, but we're gonna keep it nice and tight so that we don't have stuff, we don't have jumper wires all over the place. That's it, a jumper. Let's cut it off. And let's check continuity. This is basically comes from right here, right? from your stack antenna gets amplified and goes straight to your FMI pin for FM reception with this configuration. We need one more jumper, guys. We would like to jumper. This is a reset pin, RST. Goes over here, right? And right here is a 3.22 volts. So we need to give it 3.22 volts. It is soldered, which is good. We can cut it, check continuity. Good. Guys, there is one more thing. If you install the upgraded LNA, the BFU550AR, this resistor right here is 100 kilo ohms. On one side over here we got 3.22 volts. Across this resistor it is 2.7 volts. This goes through this coil, and over here it feeds the LNA. So because of this resistor we got 2.7 volts here. If we give more volts to this upgraded LNA by placing a jumper riser across the resistor from here to this side, we're gonna get more amplification. So install this jumper only if you upgraded this LNA. If you got a stock LNA, do not install this jumper. I'm gonna go the easy route. And just install from this blob onto this side of resistor. As soon as I burn the resin on this jumper, that looks good, even though that blob looks kind of big. And I think we lost the jumper over here, but I'm gonna check right now. Did we lose a jumper over here? Yeah, we lost it. So let me make another one. Good. I think that looks good, guys. Let's cut things off and measure continuity. Yes, and yes, and yes. Excellent, guys. Let's review the jumpers. You see jumper right here, optional jumper right here. That's if you have this LNA. Take a good look at them. And we have a jumper over here, you see, and we have a jumper over here. That be it for the jumpers, guys. We have to install this capacitor from factory. It is a 47 picofarad capacitor over here, and we want to install the provider that supplied with the kit 100 nanofarad capacitor. So let's do it. Oh, look what it did. I'm just grabbing some solder. So one side is soldered. I'm gonna come back and solder the other side. Excellent. Believe it or not, we are done. I'm gonna clean off camera and come back and talk to you face to face. So guys, we are done. At this point we just have to figure out how we're going to set up this mod, because there are 4 different ways to set up this mod. Check this out. There is basically a single antenna setup, single antenna with dual LNAs, dual antenna, and discrete antenna with dual LNAs. Now the first setup, single antenna, there is option, there is parts for this particular setup, but it makes absolutely no sense because it is stupid. Check this out. This single antenna setup, we are not going to use this LNA on this board, in which case it absolutely makes no sense to have this particular board. But we're still going to do this single antenna setup so that I could show it to you, because some people ask me for single antenna setup because they like the look of a single antenna, and there are parts for the single antenna. Your kit comes with this part. This is a coil. It looks like a resistor, but it is coil. This coil goes over here. One part of this coil goes to ground right here, and the other part goes to antenna in, and at that we remove this stock coil. However, there is a different coil. There is a high quality, high frequency, low ESR coil that we are going to install. instead of the provided coil, because the provided coil, if you install the provided coil, when you transmit it gets hot because it's inefficient, and some people even burn this coil. So we are not going to use this, we are going to use the upgraded coil, because our guy provided us with upgraded coil. Right off the bat, where to get the upgraded coil? On AliExpress you search for this part number right here, NLV32T 427JEF. It is a 470 microhenry coil. Size is 1210. It is plus or minus 5%. So that's how you find an upgraded coil. Guys, I'm going to be using hot air to replace the stock coil, because it is much more convenient for me. So let's do it with hot air, but you can definitely do it with solder iron. So first I'm going to remove the stock coil. And then I'm going to install this coil. The ground is very thick over here, so it takes a lot of heat. But it is off at this point. So let's see how we can install this coil. Let's zoom in. You can install it like this, you see, on the side, and you can come here with solder iron. But I'm going to install it like this, like it was meant to be installed. Just let me add some solder over here. And let's solder it in. The body is plastic. So let me take some measurements and make sure it is soldered. I'm getting 29 ohms, so it is soldered, there is contact. it is done. Next part, guys, we have to configure this board to actually use single antenna. There is a configuration resistor on this board, the 0 ohm resistor right here. You see, this is 0 ohm resistor. In this configuration, from stock antenna you get a signal going via this trace and hitting the FMI pin. It does not go onto this filter, and on this filter signal for AM, SSB, etc. goes through this LNA, gets amplified, and through this 0 ohm resistor hits this filter and goes into AMI pin. So what we do is we remove this resistor installed over here. So let's do that. Now I cannot use hot air with this to unsolder and solder this resistor, because there is double-sided tape on the other side. It's going to melt. So I'm going to use solder iron. It's off. Let's just solder it in. It's soldered in. Excellent. So we're done. This is a single antenna setup. All I have to do now is clean it up, install the keyboard film, install display, and we're going to test it. So it is assembled right now. We are in single antenna configuration. We have Fox's firmware, we have EEPROM, we have other supported mods that I did. Now with Fox's firmware, once you install it, you need to configure it. So let me show it to you. Once you install it and turn it on, like we have it installed, right, you're gonna get the smiley face, and people don't know what to do with the smiley face. No buttons don't work, nothing at this point works. What you do is turn it off, press and hold 7 and turn it on, and it's going to wipe all memory off to zeros, and when it's done it's gonna say 0xFF. Then you turn it off, press and hold exit key and turn it on, and it's going to initialize the memory. So let's wait for it to initialize the memory, initialize the firmware, and once it is initialized, we are going to go into a SI mode and test this mode. It's done now. Check this out. So I'm going to turn it off, turn it on. I'm going to go short press menu and going to go down and select Si4732. It is in FM right now. I'm gonna hit the star scan. One oh six 100, 106 900, 107 400. Maximum volume. To join each other in making the world. 87.5, 88 300, 89,200, 97,6, 98,300, 99,300, 99,800. So generally the FM reception is really good. I'm just looking at the stations it's able to capture, and it's capturing all the stations that I'm used to seeing, and plus some far stations which I usually don't see. So this is excellent. Let me come back and do AM test. Let's catch some Chinese or some Spanish station. Yeah boys, I got carried away. I forgot that I have not installed the SSB patch. AM is going to work without SSB patch, but SSB is not going to work without SSB patch. And I just went on web SDR and realized it is daylight. It's like 5:30 p.m. and I still have to wait until it goes dark, like maybe 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. But I still have some signal, and for that signal I need SSB, but I realized I don't have SSB patch installed. So to install SSB patch, you just turn on your radio regularly, right? Connect it with a cable to computer, and just go to Telegram messenger. Let me show it to you. Go to Fox's Telegram, and you're gonna look here for прошивки с приблудами для избранных. It says firmware with goodies for chosen people. That means with mods and stuff, because not everyone does mods, and this particular firmware needs mods. So you click on that section, and at this point in time that section is second from the top, but you see in Cyrillic what it looks like. And here you can download the latest firmware. Latest reborn is going to be at the very bottom, and you need patch. The patch is right now is pinned in the pinned message. We just go to the pinned message and it opens right here, and we need to open this website. So let me open this website, and let me go into Chrome. This website is going to open. You're gonna have your radio turned on and connected via cable to a computer, and you're gonna click connect. I don't have a cable connected right now, but once you click connect, you're gonna select the COM port, and once it is connected, you're gonna click write SSB patch. Once it finishes writing SSB patch, you can disconnect the cable, turn off your radio, turn on your radio, and try SSB. That's how you do it. But I'm not going to install SSB patch with you, because I have my USB ports busy. I need to go off camera to actually install SSB patch. But this is important step, guys. Install the firmware, initialize firmware, and then install SSB patch. So I decided to show you the actual process. You don't see me because I have my cameras disconnected. I have a cable connected to computer and my radio is on. So I click the connect button and it asks me to select a serial port. I select proper serial port and I click connect. And now I'm gonna click get version just to make sure that it's connected. And it says an embedded page that then says OSW FFF, which is a correct version of bootloader. Now just click write SSB patch, and here you see progress bar. So I'm gonna wait for this progress to go all the way to the other side of the screen. Once this progress stops, the process is finished. So let's wait for it to finish, because a lot of the time guys ask, write to me in comments or email me or on Telegram, just ask me why SSB does not work with Reborn. So this is how you install the SSB patch. Let's wait for it to finish. It takes a while. Halfway done, guys. We are going to film the entire process, guys. It's like 70% done, maybe 75. I'm waiting for this bar to go all the way to the end and then disappear. By the way, to install SSB patch you need upgraded EEPROM. That's why EEPROM mode is recommended. SSB patch installs into EEPROM, not the CPU. Oh, it's done. So at this point you see the bar has disappeared, and we can remove cable from the radio, turn off the radio and turn on the radio. That's it. That's how you install SSB patch. So quick AM test. I found I'm stationed on 13709 in AM. So this is my radio. Let's attach antenna. Fully extended. We are not gonna get anything better than let's try this single antenna setup. station.
İsrail'e yeni Amerikan askeri sevkiyatları ile ilgili başlıkları da ele aldı. Açıklamada Hamas, siyasi büro başkanı İsmail Haniye'nin suikastı
definitely more sensitive. Even if you look at SNR,
İran'ın ulusal güvenliğini savunmak için gerekli tüm
let's go back to the station. Check out that SNR one. Much less sensitive. Those are quick tests during the day. It's 7300. SNR is like 12, 25. Let's switch radios. But that's just a daylight test, guys, so we're gonna wait until the evening hours and try it one more time. So we are back, boys. It is just after 8 p.m. AM test frequency is 13.791 AM. This is my radio.
مئوية مقارنة بالفترة نفسها من العام الماضي، وتم تحسين هيكل الاستثمار الأجنبي باستمرار، ونما الاستثمار الصيني في الخارج بسرعة. وفي الخطوة التالية ستعمل وزارة
Crystal clear, as you can see. So let's try this thing right here. Single antenna. Same frequency, 13791. Reception is dependent on whether I put antenna like this or like this.
التجارية الخاصة هناك. تشتهر قوانين رغبات الخيزران بواسعة والشاي أبيض وباعتبارها رائدة.
So let's do SSB test. Let's go back to my radio.
المستقبلية.
Let's switch to SSB.
Ничего, красиво звучишь. Молодчина. Ну и послушай мне еще.
Frequency is 7.113.
Не принимаешь? Все, понял, Андрюш, не принимаю тут тебя. Спасибо, дружище. Таких здоровья, благополучия пожелаю и успехов. Бог даст, туда подальше отрапортуешь, что наработал.
And let's try that single antenna sync on LSB, same frequency, was 7.113. depending how I turn the antenna, I get something, but it's definitely nothing like I have on my radio. So let's go back to the studio and draw a conclusion. You guys seen everything for yourselves. The radio that we did with a single antenna with this new board is a lot less than my radio with the previous board version 2.1 with sound amp, which has a better filter but with a discrete antenna. Now there are several reasons for it. First of all, because the single antenna you got a lot of shit hanging on to antenna before it goes through that capacitor. Things like coils and capacitance and different stuff, so that this setup is not very efficient. But also because the filter on the new board version 2.5 is same as on version 2.1 without preamp. It is simple and it uses cheap coils. Whereas on version 2.1 with a preamp, the filter, as you remember, has high quality coils and more components. So that's a result. Now there is a different method. There is a different way to connect a single antenna. Basically, if you take amplified signal from the first preamp, the one that is located on the quansheng PCB, I'm gonna show you in a minute, and we feed it into the provided LNA BGA427 and then we feed it into a filter, we're gonna get more amplification, and that possibly could be equivalent to better reception, but it could also mean that the HDR is not going to work, it's going to shut down. We're about to see in a moment. Another thing, guys, keep in mind that on this radio I installed upgraded LNA on the quansheng BFU550AR, as you remember, instead of the one that was from the factory, 2IC something. Same LNA is installed here. So if you are going to do a single antenna mode, and if you are going to keep a stock LNA, your mileage is going to vary, and most likely you're gonna have even lower sensitivity. So let me take this apart, come back and do the next logical step. So guys, we did a single antenna and we tested single antenna. Right now is the time to do single antenna with dual sequential whatever LNAs. How it's going to work? Well, like this. Basically the signal from single antenna comes here through a bunch of shit hanging onto it. It exits over here through this via, goes through this capacitor, gets amplified on this LNA, and let me just focus. It goes here, and instead of going here to this board, right, we're gonna remove this jumper. We're gonna attach the cable right here and the ground to that cable over here. So it's going to go through a cable over to this connector. It's gonna get amplified over here, go through this trace. We are going to put a jumper over here, and we're going to keep the jumper over here. That way it hits this filter and this filter. And ideally for this setup you would cut the trace right here so that you would not have anything over here, but I'm not going to worry about it at this point in time. This is just for testing. So let's come back and let's do this setup. We are back, so let's remove this jumper. Just like this we remove this jumper. and I would like to make a jumper right over here. So let me add some flux, and I have prepared jumper right over here, and let me solder it. Yeah, I see that I made a jumper, so I'm not going to check continuity, because I made a good jumper. So now I would like to take a cable that is supplied with this kit. Let's take a look at the cable. Guys, ideally you would like to attach the ground, but I'm not gonna mess with it really. I'm just gonna take a cable and solder it over here. This is for testing purposes. I don't think it's gonna matter. So let me grab some solder, my iron tip, and that's it, just like this. And then I would attach this cable over here. That way we have a connection. Like this, guys. And our next setup with single antenna, 2 LNAs is ready to go. That's how it looks like. Let me come back and see if I can tuck this in and put this thing in the body so that I don't have to test like this. And as you can see, I haven't put anything back together. That's because I decided to do a FM test just to see if this thing even works. And yes sir, it works. Let's scan some stations. I would say not bad, but I'm not sure, so let me put it together and we're gonna go and do SSB test. Yeah guys, I don't have any good news for you. It's right now playing FM so that we know SI actually works. Let me switch to AM and SSB. And if we put it on 7.090 and go up, we should catch something definitely. Let's go up to 7.130. As you can see, nothing good, so Sorry about that, I almost dropped you guys. Let's try my radio. Let's go into SI. AM and then SSB. Seven dot 090.
Hayırlı sağlıklı akşamlar. Haneden haneye selamlar olsun. Hoşça kal. Tango Alfa 5 Bravo Golf Tango Alfa 8 Juliet. Abi teşekkür ettim. Güzel abi 5 9 artı 20 yaşam.
I think that's a good signal and good indication. But let's go up to 7 anyway.
Даня 73. Спасибо. Роман Тройка, Таня Мария, Женя 40 метров. Приглашает Роман Жук 6, Антон Жук Ульяна.
So let's try on those radio 7117.
Громко, громче всех, я вас приветствую.
got nothing. Let me try some attenuation. Attenuation maximum 737. No guys, I'm sorry, this setup does not work. You seen for yourselves. So for all of you single antenna lovers that think single antenna looks good, well, it sucks guys, and I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. So we are left with two more setup options. It's dual antenna, where your FM signal comes through this antenna and your AM SSB etc. comes through this, and the discrete antenna where we use two LNAs and everything comes through this antenna. So when we're going to come back, we're going to do one of those setups. We have two more antenna setups to go over with: the dual antenna and the discrete antenna. This right here is set up for discrete antenna. In a discrete antenna, we take signal from auxiliary antenna, the one that comes through flashlight hole, and amplify it on the BFU550AR, the LNA or the stack LNA if you did not change it, on the quansheng, send it through cable and through the BGA427. Obviously off camera I took this apart and set up for discrete antenna setup, just because it would be much more convenient to test discrete antenna before we do a dual antenna. I did something else. Check this out, let me show it to you. You are looking at basically this is a flashlight that we had. I took jumpers, iron jumper wires, and I glued LED right here. This is a 020 LED from same as on display. It is red, so when the flashlight is turned on, the M key is going to light, giving you indication that flashlight is on, or when you are flashing firmware, this thing is going to give you indication. So let me show you this setup. I got the trace right here. This for discrete antenna. So stack antenna is not connected to any of this. It is cut right here. I installed IPX connector so that we can test and connect the discrete antenna. If this setup works, ideally you would want to drop a TVS diode from here to grounds, PV05C. I changed the capacitor. We had a 100 nanofarad capacitor. I put a 470 picofarad capacitor. So the signal is gonna go get amplified here. We're gonna catch it via this cable, and it's gonna go here, gets amplified over here through this jumper, going through this filter, and through this 0 ohm resistor, think of it as jumper, to this filter, and over here it does not go anywhere. And if this setup works, I would cut this trace right here. So all we have to do, all that is left to do is test this. But before we test it, I think I'm gonna make a hole in the flashlights and install the SMA connector, because I think it would be easier for me to hold it, hold antenna like this. So let's come back and install the SMA connector. So at this point in time, I want to make a hole. I don't have power attached to my power tool. I'm just using it to hold the drill bit. I have a 5mm drill bit. It's not ideal, get a 5.2 if you can, and a 5.9mm drill bit, also not ideal, get a 6 if you can. I'm going to lubricate the hole, and I'm going to rotate the body on top of the drill bit. Before I do anything though, I'm going to hit the glass from the outside and push it out so that I don't scratch it. And when we come back and I made the hole, I'm just using a pigtail for testing this particular setup. We still have to break the legs of this connector, make this connector flush, cut the center pin, all that we're gonna do later, guys. This is just for testing, so let's come back and do FM test. So I'm set up for FM test. Just now with off camera with my radio, I got 17 stations with this antenna right on this spot. So let's see how many stations we catch. Let's say this one, 2, 3, 4, 4 stations, guys. And reception is crappy. Let me show you so that you understand what I'm talking about. Really quickly, so I'm not actually with this setup. I don't have my hopes up. Anyway, this is what happens with my radio. I may not continue, right? But we're still gonna do tests outside, some SSB, maybe AM when it gets dark. So see you when it gets dark. Good evening, boys. So we have some good things happening on AM and I think also on SSB. So let's do AM test. This is my radio, and this is what I expect to hear on the other radio. At least as good as this one. So let's switch antenna. That's good, that's really good. Let's go to SSB. Yeah, I usually go to 7, wait, 0, 0, 9, 0, and from here just go up.
пожалуйста, дальше. Спасибо. Радиодиалог, здесь центр Марионит, здесь ремонт Леонид Татьяна. Добрый вечер, Александр.
So far I like what I see, but let's go back to my radio and let's do the same with SSB so that we have something to compare to. Okay, we are on SSB. Anyway, let's go back to the studio. So you guys saw everything with your own eyes. To my ear it sounded almost as good as my radio, and I have a hard time telling the difference between the two. And I noticed right now, just with you, right, during this test, that when I touch this connector, this one, right, the one that I soldered in, it actually begins to receive it. This is because the connector is from a Wi-Fi card. I took it off, so it's not really Apex, IPX. I just, well, I don't have a fresh IPX connector at the moment, so I use that one. So I think our FM test was invalid, and plus keep in mind that our cable from the first LNA to the second is not grounded, so that's also could play into things to lower the sensitivity here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to do one more quick FM test, but I'm gonna do it off camera and come and tell you what I saw. So I decided to show you the FM test. Basically IPX broke off when I tried to take it off, and it came apart because it was shitty anyway, the used one. So I soldered it directly. Let's do FM test. On your screens you see notepad with all the frequencies as soon as I move. So right now you're listening to 87.5. Let's go through frequencies.
Когда атаковать? Такое уже было в апреле этого года, когда после удара спустя 2 недели.
88.3. 89.2. Oh, 89.2. So let's do 97.6. .97.6 is 97.6. Let's do 98.3. This is 98.3. $99.3, 100.6,
браузер и всевозможные приложения позволяют видеть звонящего. Это одна из популярных схем еще с прошлого года выманивания данных.
How about 1019? Yeah, you got it. 1025. This is 1025. One 1031. This is 1031. 1035. But you know how to take 1048. Then he's saying 1040, 1048. This 1048. I think that's enough, guys. Let me go quickly so this video doesn't get too long. It's already too long, but not as long as previous video. Let's go into SI FM. Let's do 97.6. Uh, 1025. Let's do 1025. 1025. Let's do 1031. 1031. Okay, I've seen enough. So FM test kinda sucks, guys. Painful. But that could be because the cable. First of all, this cable that goes into this connector, right? It's just a center pin. I did not use a ground, and the other cable also ground is not used. Maybe because of that. But yeah, as far as AM goes and SSB, I liked what I seen. So we're gonna do the next logical step. Dual antennas. This was a discrete antenna. Discrete meaning just this one for FM, AM, SSB, etc. Dual antenna is going to be a little bit different, and depending on what I see with dual antenna, we either gonna go with this setup, when maybe if we do it fully, or with dual antenna setup. So let me clean this thing up and prepare it for dual antenna. So I'm all set up. This is a test setup. I did not put anything together. Check this out. For the dual antenna, basically right here I put the jumper. You see it right there, so that we get the FM signal from the stock antenna. And over here I put the jumper as well back, right? Over here I took off 0 ohm resistor. It flew on me, and over here is where supposed to be a 0 ohm resistor. I put the jumper, the same thing, and over here I just connected one middle wire of the second antenna, and the second antenna is SMA female. So we're gonna come back and we're gonna do a FM test, guys. So we are all set. This dual antenna, this AM, SSB, CW, this FM, this is a dual antenna setup. Let's do frequency 87.5. 87.5. 88.3. 88.3.
характерны.
А как меняется внешность?
Все дело в том, что
Let's do 89, 2, 8, 9, 2.
кто, может быть, разочаровал?
97, 6, 9, 7, 6. I think 97.6 was better on that radio, but what do you want? It's hanging on VHF tracks. Got all that shit hanging besides this antenna. 97.6, 98.3, 98.3. Got nothing. We're gonna check 98.3 on that radio. 99.3, 99.3. Classical was better on that radio, I remember. 100.6, 100, 100.6.
С каким учреждением и компаниям, оператором сотовой связи, потому что нас действительно лицо удивляет.
1019. Got 1012. Let's do 1019. 1019.
сначала первый сезон создавался просто потому.
Let's do 125. Okay, 98, 98.3 and 102.5. We're gonna check, and for this one, I think we're done with the FM. Let's check here, just 98.3. No, same thing. How about 102.5? 102.5. Same thing. Guys, FM test. It's kinda. I think it's the same, more or less. Classical sounds better on that radio, but again, this FM antenna hangs from VHF track, goes through that via onto the other side, and you got all the capacitance and resistances and stuff and coils. So let's come back and go ahead and do. Let's jump straight to SSB, guys.
Let's do SSB test. We're gonna check minus 230.
всегда на ваших мотивациях прекрасно слышу, так что...
Okay, let's go down to 7090 and go up. Yeah, I've seen enough, guys. Let's go back to the studio.
So it's time to draw a conclusion. FM test is kind of the same, and SSB test I have hard time telling the difference. I think I'm gonna go with a dual antenna setup, and after we put everything together, I'm gonna do another SSB test and finally decide which radio is better, the version 2.5 or the version 2.1, because at this time I'm unable to tell any significant difference. So maybe in the next test at the end of the video we could draw a definitive conclusion. And so let's come back and let's finalize our dual antenna setup. This is a 18.5 millimeter length connector. It comes with a kit. So let's break off the legs and cut the center pin together. They're really easy to break, guys. Practically no effort. Like that. And let's cut the center pin together. Let me zoom in into the center pin. You as well zoomed in, and me. I'm gonna take my cutter and I'm gonna cut the center pin. Now guys, I'm going to take my files, I'm going to deburr this, make it flat basically, so that it doesn't cut anything, as well as from this side, this thing and this thing. And the center pin, guys, yeah, I'm gonna take my file and I'm gonna make it smooth so that nothing can cut on this thing, right? So that we don't cut our LCD cable. So when we come back, so I deburred everything. The connector is smooth, center pin is smooth, nothing is going to cut LCD cable here. Check this out, guys. Basically, as soon as I zoom in, connector comes with one of this and one of this. But the thing is, you need two of these and one of these. One of this is gonna go on inside of the radio like this, right? You're gonna insert connector into the hole for flashlight. The other thing is gonna go on top, and you're gonna screw this thing in. So essentially you need two of these rings for strength, and one of these. I do not know English names for this, but you're gonna need one of these. You're gonna insert it on top, and you're gonna screw in one of these SMA to BNC adapters. So what that means, guys, is that you do need, after all, to purchase some of the IPX pigtails. Keep that in mind. So anyway, let me take this thing apart and let's insert it into a plastic body. Let me show you what you're gonna have to do. Check this out. This length, right? This much. The square piece. The length, the height of this, you need to sink into the plastic body. So let me show it to you. This is a hole for the flashlight. So that length, that height of this square thing, right, it has to be sunken into the plastic. You can use a rotary tool, or that would be actually the easiest way, but I don't have a rotary tool, so I'm gonna use one of the cheap solder irons, which I do not use for soldering things. After you melt plastic, it's going to be hard for the solder to stick to the tip, so keep that in mind. You could use chemical cleaner to clean the tip if you want to, but I just recommend you get a cheap $1 solder iron. By the way, if you are going to use solder iron to sink this thing in, be mindful that you can melt side of the body with your solder iron. So keep two fingers like this on this side, and this finger instead of here, over here. That way you burn your fingers before you touch the plastic. There is much more detailed instructions on my YouTube channel. If you scroll down and find this video, HF full band mod version 2.1 with preamp install, I go in much more detail in that video on how to install the SMA connector. But in this video, guys, ta-ta, we did it, guys. The main thing here is for this antenna, second one, to be in axis like this and in axis like this, so that it goes straight when you have the stack antenna, and this one goes straight like this and like this. You cannot make it perfect, guys, but more or less is the name of the game. So let me show it to you under microscope. From this side I have like this, you see. I don't have the metal piece, just the board. Let's go under microscope and let me show it to you. Down there, guys, down there you are going to see LCD cable. You see it right there. I don't want that LCD cable to touch anything, so like this is perfect. You see, I'm not using a ring. I decided to go against the ring on this one because it would go crooked when I try to use a ring. We'll see how it will play out without the ring. Now we need to solder a cable. You would think that you'd solder a ground over here, right? Like this. ground right there, but no, we solder ground on this level. I'm gonna solder ground over here because again LCD cable is over here. I don't want the cable to touch LCD cable, so I'm going to solder ground over here and center pin over here, and I want the wire to go to the side of the connector, you see, to this side. So basically the wire is going to go to the, what is it, if I hold my radio like this is my left hand, right? If I look at the radio, this is my right hand. If you look at the radio, the wire should go to the right. So let me come back and we solder wire. What's going on, boys? So I decided to show you how I cut the wire. Yeah, I need some ground, right? Point is, this thing is like soldered. That's not what you want. You want loose ground. So the idea here is not to cut like this, man. To cut like this, and then you go around. This thing is really fragile, really freaking fragile. I'm not pushing the scalpel at all, just cut straight to it. I want this son of a bitch. Yeah, I want the son of a bitch off. I don't know why they soldered this part. I guess they thought it's gonna be better. Most likely it just come from the factory and just sewed in like this into the kit. I mean, you could figure out yourself, guys, but every time you make a mistake, the cable is gonna get shorter, right? And we don't want that. So now we just do what I'm doing right here. I'm using my fingers. Like this is good, right? You see, this I can solder. And I'm gonna figure out how much length here I need. I'm gonna cut, I'm gonna strip this here. So check this out. Before I took off this connector, I marked where I want to solder my ground. So essentially, here is the mark. My ground is gonna go, wire is gonna go right here, and the ground is gonna get soldered over here. And with this thing, I think I'm just gonna cut it over here and make a loop and solder it directly. So let me come back and already show you the completed results. So check this out. I soldered the ground. Now I'm gonna go and solder the center pin, and this thing is ready. So let me come back and show it to you fitted. So there you go, guys. It is soldered and the fit looks good. So at this point, what I have to do is I have to degrease the damn thing, and I'm going to use the thing that you're afraid of. That's right, that's solder mask. I'm going to use solder mask and a UV light, and I want this thing from here masked. Everything is going to be masked. So let me come back and show you the completed installed piece with mask thing on this side. So I'm about to cure the solder mask. Why do we solder mask this thing? The center pin and anything that is sharp can cut LCD cable, and you're gonna have to purchase a new LCD and replace it. That's why we mask it. Can you use a piece of tape? Sure, yeah, you can use a piece of tape, but that piece of tape can come off during installation, and when you're gonna go and remove disassemble your radio, you still could cut your LCD cable. That's why it is best to use the solder mask. So everything is ready. Check this out. And on this side we have everything attached and even glued. Let me show it to you. So this thing is masked, and the cable comes out over here, goes here. I've glued the cable. I'm gonna show you glue in a moment. It's still curing. The idea is to glue it right over here, so that assembly is much easier. And you would want some slack over here like this. And this thing is masked, so LCD cable is gonna go over here. It's not going to touch anything, any of this. The glue, guys, is T7000. Company is Jean Lida. It's a Chinese top-notch glue company. You're gonna find T7000 from other manufacturers. Just get a Jean Lida. It is a proven good glue. And whatever the fuck you do not use super glue or super glue gel. You're gonna mess up your body. Plus, it's not gonna hold. So we are ready to assemble this thing. Let's go over one more time over the mods done. From the bottom side, we did a low noise sensitivity mode. We installed two low noise BFU550AR transistors on VHF and UHF tracks, and we installed the Murata coils. Basically, this is SATCO mode plus low noise high sensitivity amplifiers. We removed the sync with oscillator, because we don't want the 26 megahertz going through this via right here into the board and acting like antenna, because we don't need it there. We just bypass that sync, cut it off, and successfully going to this chip right here. And we replaced EEPROM from the stock to 24M02RD. And on this side, we installed the version 2.5 board in dual antenna configuration. But we did the extra step. We installed the BFU550AR LNA for the FM tract. So FM uses this thing right here, and AM uses BGA427. Yeah, I masked a little bit over here just in case the thing is gonna want to touch this thing. I masked the jumper so it doesn't come off, and I masked this jumper around here, and where I cut the trace I put the jumper in, and I masked everything here. So that's the mod, guys. We are ready to assemble our thing, put it into metal body. So let's do it right now. So let me put the screws back in. And where is my rings? Right here. I want my rings back on. And I want a piece of tape protecting LCD cable. So I'm just gonna take a piece of tape and I'm going to do this right here. And one more layer just in case. So like this. Another thing I want to do is glue the LCD in place, because the cable, the wire from second antenna, basically display has some play in it, and the cable can make this thing crooked when you install it. So where is my glue? There are three places. First, it is this tab right here on this side. Just a little bit. Then you're gonna see this big capacitor over here. See it? So above that capacitor, because there is nothing above that capacitor. And on this side, you are going to see between these two connectors there are no components, so I'm gonna drop a piece of glue over there and wait for this thing to cure and continue my assembly. So we are going to come back in a moment. Display is cured, I glued it, there is tape, and we are ready for final assembly. Standard thing is put the keyboard back, make sure it is all nice and tight, And off camera I glued the screen back, the glass back. So standard thing is we're gonna solder the speaker. Make sure the speaker works, we can hear it. And it works and we can hear it. We are going to attach antenna. Antenna is attached. Just carefully slide it back in. And yeah boys, so this thing is assembled. Let me just put the button back on. And the button sucks, honestly. And let's put second antenna on. The SMA to BNC adapter. What you do is you take one of these rings, see, like that. That comes with a pigtail. It does not come with a kit, it comes with pigtail. You put in here between the SMA to PNC connector so that when you tighten it becomes tight. And second antenna. And this button is not touching, so that's good. And the first antenna, with the first antenna it looks like this. Ready to go, guys. So the time is 8:30 p.m. I don't know how it is, how SSB is. If it's good, we're gonna come back and do final SSB test. I took it apart because I forgot to put this piece in. But check this out. We did not crank our LCD cable. So that means our setup is really good. Yeah, let me put it back together. Our lights are off. Check this out. This is flashlight indicator. Right now I'm pressing the flashlight on, flashlight off, but also if we turn it off, hold down PTT and turn it on, we got indication for when the firmware is flashing. So come back and we're gonna do SSB test. We are ready to go with the test. Let's do AM test first. Frequency is 13.7110.
消费者邓女士说，在网上有看到大家评价都很好嘛，然后呢，我自己看这个设计也很有创意，比较新潮一点，产品本身好的话，那肯定是大家都会选择。该品牌负责人叶欣告诉记者，他们十分看好中国的市场潜力，在上海开设首店，不仅可以将国际时尚设计带给消费者，还能充分利用长三角。
SNR is jumping up to 25. This is my radio, by the way. So let's switch to version 2.5.
这家店还是非常有信心的，这2年也是实体经济在不断有新的创意出来，能感受到大量的新的品牌出现，然后你就会很身体力行的感觉到这种城市的活力感。
富华的外商中，
奖的外资参与者不在少数。2018年，另一个来自法国的书上团队在上海创立首家法式餐饮店，主营冰淇淋、烘焙与咖啡等甜品，一度掀起了现象级的排队热潮。6年间，该品牌仅在上海的门店已扩张至15家。该品牌总监苏菲安表示，上海
Maximum SNR is plus 20. So let's go back to my radio and do SSB test. And right away we got Samsung on 7113.
Замечательно ваша аббревиатура цифра работает, так что все классно. До свидания. 41 Галина Евангелина. Всем прием. Приглашает Роман Антон, 3 Галина Евангелина. 40 метров. Прием. 3 Галина Евангелина. Роман Антон, 3 Галина Евангелина. 40 метров. Прием.
Let's go to version 2.5. Let's go to 77.090 and make our way up. Let's try the same thing on the version 2.1. Back to version 2.5.
Все нормально. Встретились. Не пропали совсем, Жарин.
7100.
Сделай ему замечание, но ты делай тактично, а не так, как ты дал прием. Не могу, Сань, не могу, он на 2 месяца старше меня прием. Я тебе разрешаю, даю добро прием. Хорошо, тогда я так и сделаю, давай, тогда пока. Так, Роман 6, центр знак, радиожук 6, Баритан на коридор. Витя, здравствуй, добрый вечер тебе. 100 лет не слыхал, Серегу так видел прям неделю назад, тебя не слышал.
And the thing about this radio, I just hate the button. Button sucks. So 7100 and we go up.
Добрый вечер тебе на приеме. Андрюш, ну ты витя не цемел, но погромче, видимо, все-таки за прохождение немножко или притухло, или ты не так складывается. Андрюш, и слушай коллектив, Женя, тебе. Громко ты говоришь, мое имя Женя Брюховецкая, прием.
7.107, let's do that.
Подобраться. И Андрей еще будет станцию слушать. Да, Андрей, поздравляю на сегодня добрый вечерок тебе. Пущелка, Анатолий, Аршин, ДКТ. Твое звучание сегодня чуть потише вчера вообще. Очень громко было. Сегодня 10-15 вижу на их месте. Ну, устойчиво, без болтанки, все отлично на ты. Отлично, Андрей. Спасибо, рад был услышать. Хорошего вечера. Тогда я посмотрел, что там уже 10, 15, выходил до 15, Андрюш. Ну не более, да, хочу открыть тут, где мы тут находимся. Смотри, не могу звук выключить. Андрюш, поблагодарю тебя за эту встречу, добрые пожелания.
Yeah, so let's go back to the studio and draw conclusions.
Which one do you think sounded better on the video on the SSB test? Version 2.1 with BFU550AR LNA, amplification is 18 decibels and noise is 0.6 decibels, or version 2.5 with BGA427 LNA, amplification is 18.5 decibels and noise is 2.2 decibels. Write me down in the comments because I have hard time telling the difference. And for this video, this is the end. If you haven't done so, press a like before it's too late and push that subscribe button and the bell notification. And I'm going to see you next video. Bye bye.
Не знаю, что тебе ответить, брат, и почему я снова стартанул. Тут Родина подкинула деньжат. Нормально, чтоб забраться на войну. Не то, чтоб по утрам я слушал гимн, тем более его не исполнял. Я возвращаюсь к пацанам своим. Надеюсь, они тоже ждут меня. Я здесь в порядке, что ни говори. И слышу только доброе от вас. А где-то там, в неведомой дали, в клещах зажатый насмерть бьется барс. Не знаю, когда свидимся с тобой, да потому что видел, что и как. Не обещаю, что вернусь живой, но то, что постараюсь, это факт. Когда вернемся, снова посидим, и чтоб коньяк, гитара и друзья. Поверь, мы по-любому победим. Да потому что проиграть нельзя. Когда вернемся в солнечный уют, и каждый что-то скажет от себя. А если нет, тогда про нас споют, как мы когда-то пели про ребят. Я вижу, собираются полки, но им пока за ленту не сейчас. А здесь всему на свете вопреки стоит и ждет несломленный Донбасс. Нам по-любому надо их спасать из этой черной беспросветной тьмы. Не знаю, что тебе еще сказать. Все просто, братка, кто если не мы? Не знаю, что тебе еще